Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 603 and Doubleshot number 509. Two DC trades. One, I thought I would never review this particular series, but I reviewed the OMAC project, so why not check out this one? Especially since this character did recently appear in the Blue Beetle series. And that's OMAC. One Man Army Corps. That's essentially what this what it stands for. Volume 1. Omactive. Omactive. Yeah. This collects the entire 8 issues of Volume 4, written by Dan DiDio, artwork by Keith Giffen, with some artwork by Scott Kubelich. Yep. And this is one of 3 trades I'm going to talk about my criticism of the trades. Okay, now there is a Jeff Lemire is a co-writer for an issue where this version of OMAC fights Frankenstein's monster. This is Kevin Coe. That's really the guy's name. And the artwork is very reminiscent of the late Jack the King Kirby's artwork. Yeah. It's like, well, I gotta praise Keith Giffen. He did a fantastic job paying a tribute to Jack the King Kirby. One of 2 series I can think of that's not written by Jack, that's never drawn by Jack the King Kirby. Actually, with 3 I can think of, where Jack the King Kirby didn't draw it, but the artwork is heavily inspired by it. The other, of course, I think was an issue of Legends of DC Universe. The other was the final couple years of the Superboy series, where he was headquartered by Cadmus. Excuse me. Now, and this series, we get the post-flash introduction of 3 characters. In the first issue, we get the introduction to a character who definitely was created by Jack the King Kirby during his run for Superman's pal Jim Yeltsin. Doubleshot! Yep, Doubleshot makes his first play appearance in this very series. And that's just in the first issue. We also see the first play appearance of the guy who technically was the main villain of New 52 Futures End, Brother Eye. But no, this is not the Death Star thing commonly people associate with when it comes to Brother Eye. This is how he originally looked back in the original OMAC series from the 70s. But he's not the only one that pops up in here. Oh no, not the only one. Nope. We also see appearance by a character who Keith Giffen himself created, along with Jan DeMatteis and Kevin Maguire. Maxwell Lord! Yep, I thought his first play appearance was in the pages of Grayson. I forgot that he appeared here first. Yep, it is something though that Maxwell appears here first, and he communicates regularly with Maxwell Lord. Kind of like how Maxwell can communicate with an AI. Also, gotta love this tribute to Jack the King Kirby. Yeah, this is a tribute from Kamandi. Yeah, this is something that's common for Kamandi. See this thing? Yeah, this type of thing with someone's head, legs, and hands appearing on this cube thing. Yeah, this was common in the Kamandi series. As for why it appeared here, because the series is a tribute to Jack the King Kirby. Yep. And this character's like on the run from the government, who really wants his hands OMAC. Yeah, this is, and of course he gets to fight with Frankenstein's monster. Overall, and of course, also, almost forgot to mention this, not only first flashlight appearance of Brother Eye, Doubleshot, and Max Lord, but also Checkmate makes his first splash appearance here. Though you barely see it, all you see is Max Lord and then say, yeah, he's part of Checkmate, but that's really it. Checkmate gets proper due into the Grayson series by Tim Seeley and Tom King. This by far was a fantastic series to read, and the series ended on a cliffhanger. Not technically a cliffhanger per se, but a plot thread that, as far as I know, was definitely fixed later on by definitely fixed by Keith Giffen himself. Because, well, the guy, besides being a writer, he's an artist as well. But what happened to OMAC after this series ended? Well, he popped up at Justice League International for the final 4 issues of that series and the annual, then disappeared for an entire year, popped up in Suicide Squad for the February time for that series, disappeared again, this time for 2 years, and then popped up recently in the pages of Blue Beetle during the Keith Giffen run, almost the first 10 issues he was in there. And he was in that series, he was made a supporting character and the best friend to Jaime Reyes, an old friend of Jaime Reyes, which is great. This is one fantastic series, and I highly recommend it. I mean, despite the fact, yes, the people tend to criticize Dan DiDio for not being a good writer. I read this and people think this was okay. I actually thought this was a really damn good series. And I don't know if I know a couple people have read it and they didn't think it was all that good. I liked it and I really enjoyed it because I enjoyed Jack the King Kirby stuff and I love tribute stuff to him. 9.5 out of 10. Amazing. Alright, next up is the final trade for this trade series, and that is Batman Superman Volume 2. Game Over. Written by Greg Pak, artwork by Brett Booth and Jay Lee. This trade collects the issues of Batman Superman issues 5 through and the first annual, and World's Finest 2021. Of course, the artwork, that's done by his regular creative team, Paul Levitz and R.B. Silva. Let's talk about the first 3 issues in this trade. The Game Over storyline, where you have to read all 3 issues like this, sideways, for 3 issues. No idea why in the world. Now, the artwork is good by Brett Booth. I like Brett Booth's artwork, but I kind of agree with the criticism of these 3 issues. Reading it sideways is stupid. Really damn stupid. I have no idea what was going through DC Editorial's head by having all the artwork like this. I don't know if this was Brett Booth's idea. I don't think it was even Pak's idea either. I think it might be DC Editorial just wanted to bring back the whole reading books sideways thing. Though people might be embarrassed because people think they're reading porn. Yes, seriously. And I had to read this thing sideways for 3 issues before I got to the crossover with World's Finest. Though it actually stopped with the annual, which Jay Lee himself drew. Now it basically had, Mongo show up in the Game Over storyline, so have his son featured in the annual, where he plays a game where he has 2 teams, one formed by Batman, one formed by Superman. The Superman team consists of Superman himself, Supergirl, and Steel. Though from this cover, you probably thinking you've seen Cyborg. Nope, that's John Henry Iron. Steel, that's how he looks in here. Batman's team consists of Batman, Jason Todd the Red Hood, and Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. Who Batman doesn't really care for at all. I don't know what his criticism is for a Batgirl. Yeah, he kind of his criticism when Batgirl first showed up during her debut, but later on he softened up with her. Yeah. Now, I do have a criticism for this trade as well. Second trade I have criticism of. They don't include the Mongo one-shot. They're like, Mongo's in here. Darkseid was featured in the last trade, and the Darkseid wants to feature there. Here, they should have featured the Mongo one-shot because Mongo was featured in here. This is Mongo one-shot from Villains Month. And nope. It's not featured in here at all. I'm glad the fact they threw in here the World's Finest issues. That's great. But I kind of felt as though they should have thrown in the Mongo issue because that would have been interesting. You could throw it in like right after the Batman Superman annual, and then of course have the crossover between World's Finest and Batman Superman. Yeah, but what's the story of the Game Over one? Well, Batman and Superman are tricked by the post-Flash version of the second Toyman, who is from Japan, by the way. He does come back later. He also somehow involves manga. It's a weird story, and it's one of the most bizarre stories Greg Pak has ever come up with for this series. Got good artwork, really bizarre story. The ending was kind of like a War Games type of thing, and the Batman Superman issues, well, even though that it's a cross between the two, it's just basically dealing with stuff in the pages of World's Finest. It also kind of resolves the recurring plot thread in World's Finest with Power Girl's powers going completely out of control. Yep. It's a well-written crossover. I gotta praise Greg Pak and Paul Levitz doing this fantastic crossover. And it's great to see how both Huntress and Power Girl call out Batman on the way he treats Superman. Where he's like, I'm the brains of this team, and Power Girl and Huntress basically point out, though, Batman and Superman, they were treated as equals. And also during the course of the storyline, they also found out that their Earth 2 counterparts are dead. Yep, they found out they died. Yep. And that is a really good story. And of course, Jay Lee himself would stay on as an artist for a little while. I think the last story he did was the follow-up to the first arc, and after that, he got replaced by a different artist. Though issue 10 was supposed to start the follow-up story, but got delayed, and Jeff Lemire had to step in for one issue. But out of all the stories in here, the annual was really good, and I love the crossover. The first 3 issues are... So, big criticisms I like in here that I have against this trade. 1, the fact you have to read all the issues 5 through 7 sideways. 2, the fact they include the Mongol issue in here. And 3, the first 3 issues are kind of weak. Yeah, weak storytelling. Yeah, it's an okay story, but also Toyman does come back for the crossover, because why not? It involves Power Girl, and also I should bring this up though. The Japanese Toyman developed a thing for Power Girl, and he wanted to go out with her, and he uses X-ray glasses to check out her breast size. Yeah, which is so hilarious. The fact that he actually did that. If you ever read the first arc for Superman Batman, I highly recommend it. It's a hilarious little scene of him staring at her chest, because that was a recurring trope for Power Girl about her boob hole and, well, her breast size. Yeah. Good storytelling. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. You know what I don't get a 9.5 out of 10? Weak opening story. No inclusion of the Mongol one-shot, and the fact that the first 3 issues you have to read sideways. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 604 and Doubleshot number 510. Okay? But until I see you all there, bye.